Hi, I'm Laura Ray, and I'm here tonight to answer one of the biggest questions I've been asked since I've been on YouTube, and especially since I've been on Instagram, where I have posted some of the activities I do, the working out and dancing. The main question I keep getting over and over is, where do you find your energy? So we're going to talk about being energized and staying motivated over the age of 50. Now, I'm 57, and I want to just come out and say there are times when I feel very unmotivated and when I feel like my energy is low. And I recognize that. And what I do is come up with a plan to come out of it. That plan might mean getting extra sleep. That plan might be taking a day from work to rest. Usually it revolves around rest, or I have to sort of do what I'm going to tell you that I feel has made a difference for me. You have to ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel unmotivated? Why do I feel like my energy is low? So tonight I just want to share with you some of my experiences, my times when I've been very high energy and very low energy, some of the things I do on a daily basis to keep my energy up. So for those of you that might be tuning in that don't know me, I am Laura Ray, and I'm 57, and I'm still working full-time as a public school teacher. In addition to the full-time as a teacher, I'm also a YouTuber. I do Instagram, so I'm on social media, and that takes hours and hours of work. It is a job in itself. So I'm doing those things, and all of these things take a lot of energy. So I want to share with you some of the ways that I boost my energy or find my energy. But first, I want to say hello. We have some beautiful ladies in the room tonight. Helen's here, and Jacqueline, and Connie, and Kimberly. Welcome. I'm so glad you all are here tonight. And we are talking about getting our energy. So the first thing I would say, if you're feeling unmotivated or low energy, you just really have to stop a minute and ask yourself, what is zapping my energy? Is it mental? Is it physical? So is it something in your diet, maybe the way you're eating? Is it that you're down and so things you're not looking forward to things? I think we all go through times like that. Maybe perhaps we've lost someone. I know at times when I've lost members of my family that I haven't felt the motivation to work out or to do fun things. So depending what's going on in our life really shapes, I feel, our motivation and energy. Now, I do want to say that one thing I've always felt is that we're all sort of born with a natural energy. I've seen it in my own family and all the children that I work with, that some of us just seem to have a high energy and others a lower energy. And that doesn't mean you can't get everything done, but there's just some people that seem to be like that ever-ready bunny that keep going and going. And my own grandmother used to say that to me. She'd say, I don't know where you'd find the energy to do everything you're doing. Now, my grandmother was an extremely hard worker. She was a nurse. She put out so much energy, but she would just come home and be wiped out and not be able to do all the things she wanted to do in the house. And I think a lot of us feel that way at times. And we go through cycles. I go through cycles of higher energy and lower energy too. So I just want to share some of the things that I've learned along the way. One thing, I think you need to sort of set goals. What is my goal for my energy? Is it to exercise? Is my goal to be able to keep my house cleaner? Is my goal to have more energy to spend time with friends? So you need to really look inside of your own self And what I have fought for a long time, even though I love to exercise, is having enough energy after working all day, coming home and cooking, straightening the house. My day might not end till 7 at night, and then who really wants to start a workout at 7 at night? So I've tried so many things. I've joined a gym, and I would go with my daughter, and having a buddy, accountability buddy, really helps. Like, she would say, come on, let's go to Zumba. She'd sort of get me motivated to want to go. But what I've had the most success with over the years as far as being motivated to exercise is doing it first thing in the morning. That has really helped me so much. I started doing that back maybe around my late 30s. Before that, I went for walks after work, but as I started getting older, I feel that I got a little more tired after work, and I found that the only way I could be consistent was to sort of take care of myself first. And that was part of it too, was I always put myself last for many years. And you have to sort of decide, if you're going to keep your energy up and stay motivated, you have to take care of yourself first. And that was a big change for me. It was always about my kids at school, my own children, my husband, my parents, being good at all of those things. And then whatever leftovers were left, I gave to myself. So when I decided to really make that change was really when I hit 40. And it was something that my mother actually said to me. We were out shopping and I saw something, and my mom said, oh, that would be so cute for you. And I said, oh, maybe I'll get it later. And she knew I wasn't going to get it because I would always spend my money on my children and not on myself. And she looked at me and said, you're 40 years old. When are you going to get it? And that really hit me, and I started making changes. And also I saw other women in their 40s doing things for themselves, taking care of themselves. And that had a huge impact on me. There were other teachers that were going to the gym after school instead of just taking papers home and grading all night. There were friends of mine that said, oh, I'm going to get my nails done, and that was something I never did. And so looking at other women and seeing how they were living and doing things in their life really made a change for me. I started very slow, trying to be better to myself. So I think if you're going to get your energy up and stay motivated, you have to start with, I'm going to start putting myself at the top of the list instead of the bottom of the list. And I think a lot of women our age put ourselves at the bottom. You might have parents who need your help, or relatives that are ill at this point in your life that you're taking care of. Many of you have shared that with me, that you're taking care of spouses, you're taking care of grandkids, you're just very busy, and you end up losing out on time to relax and keep your energy up and do things you're passionate about. I think energy also comes from passion. When I dance on the beach, I've put some videos on YouTube and Instagram. That was the love of my life. I have so much passion for dance. So even at my age, that's what's motivating me. I don't take classes anymore. I don't go to a dance studio, but just being outside, being free, this is something I've loved my whole life. That passion just fires me up and makes me lift my leg that high. I'm not training for those things. That's like coming from my soul. So I think you're right, Tina. I'm looking down and Tina says we were raised to put ourselves last, and I agree with that. I still remember one Easter, my dad saying to me that your mom got you and your sister a dress for church for Easter Sunday, but she didn't get herself anything. And I remember that, and that's sort of how I was raised. My mother always put herself last and put my sister and me above her own self. And so I think seeing that, all the women in my family did that. My grandmother was the same way. And so these were my role models growing up, and I always saw them putting themselves last. And I think when you do that all the time, that really is an energy zapper. So I would say first, figure out why you're not feeling energetic and motivated. Think of what's going on in your own life. And once you do that sort of soul searching, then you can start working on those things. Because I believe that energy is inside of you. I eat well, but I don't think all the energy I have comes from food. I think it comes from love and passion. I have such a love for teaching, and that is what's kept me even during some very difficult times in education. And it just is something in me that I love the feeling of helping someone else and helping kids. So one thing I do want to say, and we'll get to this a little bit later more, but if you need motivation, helping other people will also give you energy. I have worked with a nursing home for many years with my students, taking things to the nursing home, performing at the nursing home, and I haven't since COVID hit, but before that, we were going to the nursing home quite a bit. And just doing that community service and connecting with other people and helping them gives you energy. So I would say that too. That's something that you might want to consider, is volunteering in some way. And maybe you all do volunteer. If you volunteer for an organization, I would love to hear that. I help a lot with foster kids in our area, so that's another passion of mine. So that keeps me pretty busy with the volunteering, but it's brought a lot of joy to my life and does keep me motivated. So another way, let's talk about just day-to-day energy. I plan ahead. I'll have to say my teaching career has really given me great skills for planning. And I feel like planning frees up energy. Like it might seem like a waste of time to sit and plan for 30 minutes. But when the rest of your week goes easy and you don't have to keep thinking about things over and over or worrying about them, you see what you've got ahead, I think it is very freeing to the mind. So, for example, with me, I wake up at 4 a.m. And the reason I do that is because I front load my day. I get things done that I know I'll be too tired to do when I get home, or things that maybe didn't get finished the night before. So I'll wake up in the morning, but before my planning for that day actually happens the night before. So I will lay my clothes out, my jewelry, I'll even have my makeup in a kit, the makeup I want to wear. I'll make up a box of products I'm currently trying out that I want to use that week, so I can just go in and grab it. I'm not fishing around for things, because let's face it, my brain isn't on full load there at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm still a little out of it. So I have things laid out and ready to go. I even lay out my vitamins that I take. I lay out the collagen. I get everything set up. I have a refillable water bottle I take to school. I fill that up. I have my lunch made. They're usually leftovers from that night. So when my husband and I cook, at night, we cook extra so that I can just take that to school the next day, and that way I'm eating well also, instead of eating food that might not be the best. And so having routines will really free up your mind. I would love to hear in the comments if you all have routines that you go by, and if you feel that frees up your mind and actually gives you more energy. Joyce says, I love to exercise every day, putting my ankle weights on and dumbbells. That's great. I love to do that too, Joyce. I haven't used ankle weights in a while. I used to use those, so maybe I need to get those out again. And I want to say hello to, I guess, our furthest away is Joy. She's in Scotland and she's joined us. So welcome to all of you ladies. And so at night, the day before I'm preparing, I do the same thing at school. I have my room completely set up for the next day. Things on the board, you just don't know what's going to happen. We've had teachers that have been in an accident on the way to school. Things happen and a substitute might need to come in and you want everything to go great for the kids. And it's the same even with ourselves. We might wake up in the morning and not feel very well. And so when you have everything set up for the day, your morning just flows along so much more easily. And Debbie says, when I was younger, working full-time, I was so wiped out after work. I had much more to do after work, cooking, cleaning, while she says, while she was relaxed after work. Hope things have changed. Oh, she says, while her husband relaxed. Yes, I definitely have, my husband pitches in a lot. So he is semi-retired. And he does pitch in and he cooks a lot, which is so helpful. So that's something you can do too to have more energy. If you feel you need help, ask for it. That is something that took me a long time to learn. Ask for it. I don't like asking people for anything. That was in me since I was a kid. My dad would call me Miss Independence because I didn't want help with anything. So I think we have to just admit when we have too much going on. And my husband and I have had many of those conversations where I've said, this is a hard time at school right now. You know, it might be around the holidays. There's projects going on, a play I'm doing, those kind of things. And I'm going to need a little extra help this week. So I think asking for help from people when you need it is so important, and that's hard for people like that are caretakers. Many people taking care of their spouse or a relative, they feel terrible asking for help, but you need help. Just like young mothers need help when they just come home with their babies. I remember when I first had my first daughter, I did not want any help. I was trying to do everything myself. And finally, I called my daughter one day and I said, I've had this peach robe on for 4 weeks. I need to get a decent shower and change clothes. Can you come watch her while I take a shower? And so that's how desperate I was at that point. But yes, it's really hard when both spouses are working and you're trying to raise children. So sometimes you just need to reach out, and my sister was so thrilled to come over and get to do that, and here I was sort of denying her of the joy of that. So I think it's important to release a little bit of control sometimes and let other people help. So let's talk about the night routine. So first, I organize everything for the next day, even my clothing, my jewelry, have everything set up. And also, one thing I like to do, I haven't done this recently, but I will get back to it, is meal prep on Sunday. So on Sunday, I would cook a big crock pot of taco soup or something like that that would last the first couple of days of the week, because typically the first 2 days of the week, if you're still working, are really tough, getting back in the groove after the weekend. And so, or for those of you that are retired, if you know that you're going to have to be busy helping your mother or father or someone else in your family who is ill, then by cooking ahead, you need to think of yourself like you're taking care of yourself. And make ahead those meals, then you can microwave them or cook them quick on the stove and eat and take care of your health. So I think that's really important. Also, let's talk about daily routines. For daily routines, you have to have a nighttime routine to relax. So what I started doing, because I was in a very bad routine, I would come home, do the cooking, cleaning, all that stuff, sit down to watch a TV show pretty early, like 7, and instantly fall asleep on the couch, and then wake up at 11 and feel like it was time to start my day. And then I would go wash my face, do all these things, and then not be able to fall asleep till 1 in the morning. So what I've found that's worked great for me now is when I come home from school, just go right into the bathroom, wash my face, get all the makeup off, maybe get a relaxing shower, just sort of take a little me time. I have quite a drive. I drive almost an hour to work. So by the time I get home, I've been in all this traffic, a long day. I've been up since 4. So taking that break makes my mood a lot better with my husband when I get home, and also sort of re-energizes me. I feel so good and relaxed after that. So I say start your nighttime routine earlier. If I know no one's coming over, I'll put my pajamas on. I'll go ahead and do my skincare, and then I don't have to do these things at night after I've sort of zonked out on the couch. And I see Tina says, therapy helped me learn to set boundaries. That's awesome, Tina. And teach my family a new way of doing things. Absolutely. It's all about working together, and that's very important. Our mental health, I feel, has so much to do with our energy. If we feel like people don't care about us, they're just, we're just everybody's helper, and we feel like we're not getting that appreciation back, it can be a huge energy zapper. And so I think it's very important to set boundaries. Very important. Now, I eat my last meal around 6 o'clock. That's how I've always been. I have never been a night eater. So that, I think, is part of winding down too. So when I eat my meal, then I've had my shower, I'm sort of telling my body the rest of the time you're off, you're done. And I think getting off social media at a certain time is important, and that's very difficult for me because I'm trying to answer comments. I can't do that, at work. So when I get home, I need to do that also. So that sort of wires you back up. So there have been nights when my husband and I call it a 1970s night, we just say, no technology. We're just going to spend time together, relax, re-energize. I think the phones are a big energy zapper. They're always going off. They're very distracting, so maybe even turning some notifications off that you might have on Facebook, that might help too. Because again, it's sort of like a kid coming up and tapping your shoulder. I have a question. And that phone going off makes me think of that a lot. And that can be very overwhelming. So I feel like that taking a step back from social media can really energize you. And so I see, so true, when we feel alone in everything we do, we don't feel motivated or inspired to do much of anything, because what's the point? I so agree with you. So here's what I say about that. I say, find your passion. You got to get back to what you love. Think of your childhood. What did you love when you were a kid? For me, it was dance. For me, it's music. For others, it's art, reading books. Whatever your passion is, get it back. You may not have done it for 25 years. I haven't stepped foot in a dance studio in almost 40 years. 40 years. And I really don't want to go back to that. That's how it was when I was young. I just want to be free and move. That's all I want. I'm not trying to get into a dance company or do any of the things when I was younger. I'm wanting that movement for myself, to feel joy. And so I say, if you're feeling unmotivated, look at what you're doing with your time. My mother's an amazing artist. So that's her zen, that's her joy. My dad, it's golf. He golfs 6 days a week and he loves it. He's obsessed with it. So find something that you love, you could be obsessed with. When I was, as I've done these dance videos, I've also asked many of the people on Instagram, what do you do that you love? I have a hula hoop where I did a video where I was using a hula hoop. And I said, what did you love? Oh, and so many people, riding a bike, just the basics. Things that brought you joy as a kid can bring you just as much joy now. So if you're able physically to ride a bike, that's one thing. One of the ladies told me she still does roller skating and she loves that. I know many of us have health issues that might prohibit from some of the things, but think of something else you did when you were younger. One thing I loved was jewelry making. I love making jewelry. I did as a little kid. I was a Girl Scout. We did a lot of crafts. I love crafting. And so I also like projects that aren't long-term, something I can do in 15, 30 minutes. I used to make earrings. That was fun for me. So if physically you can't do some of the things you did as a kid, try something more sedentary that you love, like drawing or crafting, and bring that back into your life. Get your joy back. That's one thing I love about music, and I always tell my students this. Unless I get such bad arthritis, I can play piano my whole life. And so I think music is something else too, that if you ever played an instrument, get that instrument out. Who cares what it sounds like? Just experience the joy of playing. So I want to look at the comments for a minute. And I see that Debbie says, do the best you can with what energy you have. Try not to overdo. And that's so true. We don't want to overdo. And you just have to listen to your body and what your body is up for. I see Tina says, one thing my therapist told me is that you are worthy of love just because you're you, not because you cook for your family or clean or whatever. And that's so true. I wonder if I was gone and I wasn't here, would my family say, I wish Mom was here to cook? No, they would miss the hugs. They would miss the love. They would miss our talks. They would not miss my cooking. So that is so true. And Lydia says she loves DIYing. That's great, Lydia. And Joy says, I bought a record player, lots of albums. I put them on and dance. I love it. I love albums. I'm so glad people are using those again. I'm seeing them in the stores. I saw a bunch at Target. And my husband and I also have a retro record player, and we play albums, a lot of the music that we love. Gail says, I'm a vocalist. I've been singing since I was about 5. Sometimes I just belt out a song. I want to say something about that, Gail. I love that. And you know what? When I'm at school, sometimes I belt out a song or a dance. And what happens is people are just like this, and then they're loving it, and it energizes them. One of the kids came up to me in the hallway, and I always say good morning to him every morning, and he comes and gives me a hug, and he says, I love your enthusiasm. And I just love that. That in 2nd grade, he realized I was being enthusiastic. So I think that is great. And so many great comments here. I've got Constantine, hello from a fellow teacher from Europe. Well, we're welcoming you. We're so happy. And I just love these comments. Tina says she's involved in community theater, and that brings her a lot of joy. And again, back to the volunteerism. My husband was in the fire rescue. He used to go after work to visit with the elderly. A lot of them were patients of his on calls that he saw just didn't have anyone visiting them and they were lonely. So he had about 10 people in a rotation that he would go visit. And then we would take our daughters and sing for them at the holidays and go visit them. And that's what sort of got me involved with going to nursing homes. And you have no idea the impact that makes on them. Just having a visitor when no one in their family, they might not have any family left, and they have no one coming to see them. So if you have a local nursing home, now that things are opening up, that might be something to consider. I think that's wonderful to be able to give of yourself that way. I've found that volunteerism brings such joy not only to adults but to children. That's why I've always done it with my students. And that's one of the biggest things I think at the end of my career I'll look at that made an impact on my students was taking them to volunteer and showing them that they had the power to make a difference. And you can just see the energy of the room when the kids are singing for them. People that are like almost falling asleep, just smiling, shaking hands, hugging the kids. You can just feel the whole energy in the room change. So like Gail, with your singing, if you go to a nursing home, now that's what my dad does now. My dad is a professional musician. He's 80, but he goes to rehabs and nursing homes. He's booked pretty much every weekend and goes and sings. And I hope I inspired him to do that. That has been more recent for him. And he would ask me questions about the nursing home quite a bit, and then he started going. And it's just amazing that he's in there entertaining. He's very high energy, but he's entertaining sometimes people younger than him at the nursing home. So Lydia says, yes, Laura, I was in the nursing home ministry for a number of years. That's wonderful, Lydia. And Carolyn says, in my house, I sound great and won't hear any different. I've sung all my life too, mainly gospel. And that's a feel-good time for me. Now, Carolyn, on the line of gospel, I had a friend who passed away a couple of years from Alzheimer's. It was early onset. He was, I believe, 62 when he passed away. And his Alzheimer's came on in his late 40s. But I would go there and play piano, and I played gospel music. That's mostly what I know. I'm not a great pianist, but I did play for many years in church with my father. We played together. I played the organ and he played the piano. And it was so interesting to me how people could barely remember their name, but the minute I played Amazing Grace, they were singing. They knew every word. It was so incredible. So that's another great place to volunteer, are homes that are for patients with Alzheimer's. Music is so soothing for them. It's soothing for everyone. So I think that is awesome that you love to sing. And so let's talk a little bit also about the nighttime with beauty. I think you get such great results when you have good products and you're consistent. I feel like some people lose their motivation with skincare because they're not seeing results fast enough. They want these instant results, and that's not really how skincare particularly works. It does take time. When you go to the dermatologist, they'll say 3 to 6 months till this really kicks in. So I just did a video on May Love, and I did get great results with that so fast. So that was very motivating. But one reason I feel I got those great results is the consistency. I did it every night, every morning. I followed the routine. So in our skincare, if we want real results, like I feel I've gotten great results with the gua sha, again, from consistency. So I think that is really important. Also, I wanted to talk about finding a mentor. I think this might be the most important thing. When I have had times where I felt really low in my life, I've looked for a mentor, someone that inspires me. I looked at school for mentors, women that had taught longer than me, that I thought all the kids were raving about and parents loved as my mentor. I definitely had several women that mentored me when I came into education. I feel I've had an exercise mentor. I have a couple, and they're on YouTube, and I'm going to link their channels. And that would be number one, Denise Austin, who I've talked about before, and Leslie Sansone. Now, Denise, I believe, came first. Back when I was in my, say, mid-30s, I guess, I was looking for that motivation. I had 33 students in my class. I was teaching art after school. I had 2 little children, helping them. Just so much going on. I was exhausted. I was wiped out. And everybody just thought I was this dynamo, but on the inside, I was like that duck going down the water, and underneath the feet are going like this. So everybody thought everything was cool on the outside, but I was wiped out. And I just wasn't wanting to exercise. So Denise was on ESPN then, I think Lifetime. I've done both of her videos, those 2 channels, and I would have my husband tape it. I'd say, will you set that up for me on the VHS? And I would do that workout in the morning. So I would hit that first. Again, I talked about that at the beginning before my day started, because if I waited till the day ended, I would have 0 energy. I would just want to go to sleep. So I started doing that. What I found is it gave me more energy all day. So I had energy when I was working with my students. I didn't feel as tired. I felt so much happier. Those endorphins were rocking it. I just felt like another human being. And I looked forward to those workouts. Did I look forward to them at first? No, I did not. It took me time to get a routine going. And once I felt the benefits of it, the energy of it, then I was sold. Then came Leslie and her walking DVDs. And I love to walk outside, but in Florida there's so much rain, humidity, pollen, you name it. There's a lot of things, just like up north, you all get snowed in. So some days you can't just get outside. So I started doing Leslie's Walk at Home. I have volumes of hers and Denise's DVDs, tons of them. But now I have the app. I pay per month for Leslie's Walk at Home, and I love that. And I still love Denise's workouts too. So those 2 women, I would say, are my fitness mentors. Those are the women that I go to. Now I've used others. That Yoga with Adrienne, she's wonderful. There's a lot of people on YouTube. But as far as longevity, I've spent the most working hours with Denise and Leslie. So those are my 2 for working out. Now, food is important too. I try to eat a balanced diet, just food that's going to give me energy. What I have found is limiting my sugar has made a huge difference, and that was not easy for me. I love sugar. I love cake. I love cookies. I love candy. I love all of it, just like anyone else. But as I limited my sugars, I felt more energy, more youthfulness. I feel like my skin looks so much better. Really, my skin looks better than when I was young because I had terrible acne. So I feel like I sort of have the best skin of my life right now. And of course, I wasn't watching the candy and the sugar and all those things when I was younger. So diet has a lot to do with it, but I don't think diet's everything. Like I said, I think motivation, excitement, comes from within, having passion and love for something. So I think that's really important. And I would say to anyone looking for motivation, looking for energy, start small. Take baby steps. Start with one thing. Like, say you want to work out more consistently, then start with that. Just say, this week I'm going to vow I'm going to wake up at this time, and write it down. Sort of make a commitment to yourself. You can write it in your calendar, you can put it in your Google Calendar, whatever you use, and write it down a time. I'm going to work out. I'm going to do this for so long. And even if it's 10 minutes, what I found is when I'm tired and I say, I'm just going to move for 10 minutes, 10 minutes is enough to bring my energy up and make me feel better. And then I usually end up going, I can go 30. I'm feeling pretty good after all. So you get sort of a re-energized by doing that 10 minutes. But start small. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. If you're working on your eating, say, I'm just not going to eat candy this week. Just cut that out and start with one thing. And that's what I've done that's really helped me a lot. When you have so much going on in your life, you can't spend all this time thinking about these things. That will zap your energy. For me, like with the eating, counting calories, writing stuff down was overwhelming. It was just too much for me. So I found just saying, I'm not going to eat this, one thing, worked really great. And the same with workouts. I don't write down all these details about my workouts. I just make a general statement. This week, I'm going to wake up at 4:30. I'm going to do this Denise Austin DVD before I get ready for school. And I just make a commitment to myself. I like Debbie says, does dreaming about working out count? Yes, I know. And sometimes you just have to have grace with yourself. There have been times when my family's been in the hospital, or there's way too much going on at school, or my mind's just filled with other things. I do take a break. I just say, I can't do that right now. I've got too much going on. I'll get back to that when I feel I can handle that. So sometimes you just have to give yourself grace. So I want to see if any of you have any questions. One thing before we get to the questions I wanted to mention is that I have a link in the description of Laura's Lifestyle. These are things I use all the time, things I love. And so when you purchase from those, I do get a small commission. That's what's supporting my channel, so I really appreciate that. I did want to mention my eyeshadow I'm wearing tonight. I'm going to be talking about this in my video this week, but I have found Mally and fallen in love with Mally. And I purchased this kit on Amazon. That's what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. But this is the most amazing kit for $39. So let me show you what's in here, and you'll see why I'm so amazed. She has in here 2 concealers, and then this at the bottom, actually 3 concealers. Then this here, right here, is a neutralizer, then a powder, and this is her poreless face defender, which I love. That will keep you from getting shiny and really just keeps your makeup in place all day. I've refound that. I love that product. I used to use it. I don't know why I ever stopped. So I bought a travel size, and now I bought a full size because I love it that much. Then look at this. You have 4 eyeshadows. These are what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. I love this look. I love these shades. I mean, it's been a while since I've been this excited about a palette. And then this is the blush. Look at this ombre blush, and then an ombre bronzer. All that for $39.99. I could not believe it. I used to use Mally when I first came on YouTube about 8.5 years ago. And I remember Mary Ellen after 60, she loved their mascara. I tried the Mally mascara because of her. and I loved it. I bought several tubes of that. And I had the Poreless Face Defender, and my mom had it too. And my mom used to say, why would you ever use any powder when you can use this? How great it was. And then when I started trying all the products for reviews, I stopped buying it, and I've re-fallen in love with this because I think it's amazing. I really do love it. And then on my lips is Maybelline Pink Wink. This is shade 105. This is one I've repurchased several times. It's like, it's not, we used to call them frost lipsticks, but as you can see, it's got a little shimmer to it. But I love this shade for spring, and you could even, if you didn't want this much shimmer, put on a matte lipstick and maybe just put this in the center of the lips. I do that sometimes, but I love this one, Pink Wink. So let's take a look at the comments, and if you have any questions for me, something I didn't say tonight about staying motivated or having energy, then just put them right here and I'll be happy to answer them. I see, wow, I got such a nice comment there. Just stopped by to say hi. For 57, you look amazing. Thank you so much. Some of that, I just have to say, is genetics. My parents are very young looking. They're 79 and 80. But I did want to say, I recently heard a doctor talking about how exercise is just incredible for your skin. And I always felt that. I come out of dance class and my skin, of course I was a teenager then, but my skin would be so plumped up. I'd have rosy cheeks. I always felt like I looked my best besides the hair. The hair always looked terrible. But besides the hair, I thought my skin looked best after dance class. And they're finding out more and more the impact that exercise has on your skin, looking youthful and healthy. And of course, we know exercise helps to build bones. So as we age, movement is really important. Very important. And I do love Debbie Malley's personality. I think it's great. And I did look at QVC, but I found a lot of the prices on Amazon were great for her product. She actually has a Malley store there on Amazon, so that's where I bought mine. But I really love, I also bought one of her eyeshadow sticks. She's sort of known for those too. Now, Brandy says, do you use a self-tanner? I wish I could. Brandy, I am so allergic to self-tanner. It's not even funny. I first tried it back in, around 1988. Coppertone had one. I put it on my legs. Of course, then it was very orangey back then. And I loved the look. And about an hour later, I had a rash covering my entire legs. It looked like a heat rash. Little bumps, so itchy. It took me about 2 weeks for those bumps. I actually wrote Coppertone. I was so upset to tell them what had happened. Well, any self-tanner has, there's a chemical, something acetone. It's usually the third ingredient. I think that's what breaks me out. So unfortunately, I can't use it on my legs, which is what I would like to do. So I just have to deal with it. But I wish I could recommend a self-tanner. I'm just, even on my face, I've tried some of the newer ones thinking maybe I could tolerate it, but I get rashy. Debbie says years ago it was just QVC. Yes, she was only on QVC. I remember, I'm sure I bought my Malley from there, but now Amazon has a Malley store within it, and that's where I found this baby here. So I'm really happy. I really like it. And Kathy says, you should make an exercise video. I would love that. They're just so complicated to make because I would be very picky about it. I would want to do something of a good quality. And of course, Leslie Sansone, she has a studio. She's from Pittsburgh, and she has a huge studio with all the lighting and the sound and cameramen and all this. So when she films, her stuff is such high quality. And Denise has very high quality stuff too, so there's quite a financial investment if I would want the video to really look great, but I have thought about that. And so that's great. But yes, I have very sensitive skin, so things will break me out really easily. So tanners, a lot of skincare products, I have to be very careful using skincare. And that's one thing when I'm trying them out for videos, I can't just go through these skincare products. I want to give something a month and a half, 2 months before I even mention it. So it's a little different than makeup when you're reviewing skincare. Lydia says, Leslie Sansone is so amazing. I have a few of her DVDs. And Connie says, do you use a lash serum? I'm not using anything on my lashes right now. And one thing I do want to try again is false lashes. I was telling my daughter I'm going to give it a try at home, sort of play around with them a little bit. Not really full lashes, just like a natural lash, and see if I can come up with some ways to apply them easily. I know so many women our age. My mom complains about that sometimes to me. She says, I wish my lashes were fuller. I've lost a lot of lashes. So if I could come up with a better way to apply them, then that would be a lot of fun, because sometimes we just want to wear them for a special occasion or going out. So I think that would be great. Well, I hope you ladies have found this helpful tonight. We all go through times when our energy is high, and when it's not, that's so normal. So if you're feeling low right now, just maybe give yourself some grace and spend some time, maybe a cup of coffee or tea, and think about in your life. We've been so blessed to live this long. Think about in your life what has brought you joy. I think if you do that, and I'm so lucky being a teacher, because I get to see kids being free, playing on the playground, doing those things. And I think that's kept me in that mindset most of my life, that I don't have to think that I can't jump rope anymore because I'm not a kid. If that's something I enjoy, then just do it. Or sitting and drawing. I think we get in this cycle where we feel like we have to always be productive, always be doing something that's either going to earn money for our family or take care of our family. We're always, as women, thinking about taking care of others. And that's wonderful, but we can't forget ourselves. So I hope this was helpful to you and will maybe motivate you to think about, if you're taking care of yourself, giving yourself enough time for self-care, for relaxation, to rejuvenate. We really need that to keep our energy up. Sometimes we need to give ourselves a time out. And just let your family even know, I need a time out. I need time for myself. I need time to get my energy going. And then you just are going to be so much happier, because energy brings happiness. It really does. So thank you so much for coming by again. If you want to look at my lifestyle store, just hit the downward button. I have a great video for you on Saturday. I've been working on quite a bit. I'm really excited about. That'll be at 9 Eastern time. And if you're over on Instagram, come visit me there. I posted a fun video today of someone very special in my life. So if you go over to my Instagram, you'll see who I'm talking about. I appreciate and love you all so much. I hope you have a blessed and beautiful week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you on Saturday. Thanks so much for coming.